in song. If you didn't feel that moving, check yourself. If you didn't feel the Spirit, check yourself. There was some magic going on in those outstanding voices. And we thank you. We thank you for your service. And Pastor Richardson, we want to give the leader of this house, Second Good Hope Baptist Church, a big, big round of applause. Give it up for him. The leader of the house. The leader of the house. The pastor of the house. The organizing spiritual lifter that gave us all of these talented people. From our minds, to our singers, to our speakers, to this incredible cat on the drums. Yeah. I was watching this little brother, man. He can't be much more than 12. Outstanding. And on the keyboard, give him a big round of applause. Outstanding. Before I start to talk, and I don't even know why I'm up here now, because we've had powerful speakers. Cynthia, you never want to come after Cynthia Bludgeon. After these beautiful voices, I'm not sure what you're here for. So I'm going to do my best to just talk to you a little bit. But before I do that, I want to recognize a few more of our elected officials who joined us. We have Judge Nicole Shepard here with us. Judge Nikisha Irving-Knott with us. Judge Ellen Hazur with us. Judge Arthur Hunter with us. Clerk of Court Darren Lombard with us. Give a big round of applause, not only those that I mentioned, but all of our elected officials that were previously recognized as well. In fact, all of our elected officials, stand up so you can see the people that love and lead and work for you. Give a round of applause. Now, when the mayor was up here, she was very kind to thank Gary and I for a successful legislative session, and we appreciate it. But let me flip the switch and tell you of your mayor who said, not enough. Who said, no, not enough, and demanded a discussion. She said, we're not getting our fair share. Many have said it before. Many have kicked rocks when they couldn't get it. But let me tell you about your mayor, who said no, and I will not accept no for an answer. She assembled a team. She gave us our marching orders as members of the legislature, and we each carried pieces of legislation that was with her energy and blessing. She sat down with leaders of the convention and tourism and hospitality industries, and she said, we demand more. No man had ever done it before. This woman, who happens to be African American, she's our first mayor, female, period. African American woman who stood up and said, we demand our fair share, and we got it. Give her a big round of applause. She said, no, Pastor, I won't tell you what preceded no. But they heard her. And we can't thank you enough, Madam Mayor, for your leadership and your commitment to fairness in fighting for what's right. And so now here we are, 154 years later. 154 years since the abolition of slavery. And we've talked about our past. We've talked about our present. We've talked about the history of Juneteenth. We've heard wonderful voices. Now let's talk a little bit about our future. Let's talk about what we do now Because here we are 154 years later after the Emancipation Proclamation. And the question begs to be answered, are we really free? No, perhaps not shackles. Perhaps not chains. Maybe we aren't sharecropping and picking cotton. But can I suggest to you that perhaps the slaves that we are today, in many cases, is a slavery within our minds. The slavery that we hold ourselves accountable to. The slavery of self-hatred. The slavery of drugs in our community. The slavery of crime. Lack of education and commitment to self. Talk to me.
Amen.
And I know that tonight I'm preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to the converted. I'm preaching to the ones who do understand. But it's our responsibility to take our message to the people who don't. To the brothers and sisters that are on the street that are begging and needing help. Juneteenth doesn't mean anything. It's just a date, a time in history, if we don't learn from it. Sister Butcher talked about the whisper, the gossip. You know, we do a lot of that in our community. Too much of it. And I'm not talking about the whisper of saying, oh, by the way, we're free, let's get out of here. I'm talking about the whispering of, oh, she thinks she's all that. Oh, he trying to be this. Oh, he ain't about nothing. She ain't about nothing. That hair ain't even real.
That's it.
You know, people, we got to spend less time talking about each other and more time talking to each other. See, our celebration today is to talk about where we're going. We already know where we've been, and unless we know where we're going, we will what? Repeat it. If we don't look at the mistakes of our past, if we don't take a deep internal look at ourselves and say we can do better, how do we ever make up for it? How do we ever move forward? Well, we've got giants in our community. I see Miss Emma Bryant in the audience. Miss Emma Bryant, stand up so everybody can see you. Miss Emma Bryant is one of those leaders in our community that has been around, that has fought, that has seen the toils and the troubles and the things in our community. She's been the conscience, she's been our mother, she's been our grandmother. She's been our friend, she's been a leader. She never misses an election and she never misses a campaign. And she reminds us while we're running and once we've won, now baby, do the right thing.
That's right.
Now baby, do the right thing. You know I don't call you for much. But when I do, it's important. And never is it for her. It's always for the community. We have a sense of responsibility. Be elected or not, we are one. We're a community that requires that we take advantage and utilize the adage of it takes a village to raise a child. We see the atrocities on the streets. We see young black men being murdered. We see the lack of education and opportunities. We've got to fix it. But government can't do it alone. The notion that the mayor has a magic wand, she's a powerful, wonderful woman. But in her toolbox, there is no magic wand.
Amen.
Your city council members, your members of the legislature, your judges, your school board members, your preachers, there's no magic wand. We are all appointed for a certain time to do a certain thing, but none of us are any better than anybody else. None of us are any smarter, any greater. We're all in it together. So as we talk about where we are today in 2019, we all have to take a deep look into ourselves and ask ourselves, can I do better? Is there more that I can do? But however little, however big, what else can I do? What else can a community do? What else can an individual do? Are we volunteering enough? Are we helping enough in church? Are we helping someone without seeking any type of applause? The answer is we can all do more. And I'll start here. And then I'll go around the room and every one of us could do a little bit more. So when we celebrate things like Juneteenth, it's a great time to come together to talk about a history. But we should always take advantage of the time when we're gathered to talk about how we can do better as a community. Be proud of your heritage. Be proud of your blackness. God never got around to making anybody any better than anybody else. Your hair is as long or as short as God wanted it. Your hair is as straight or as kinky as God wanted it. Your lips are as thick as He wanted it, and they're good for kissing. Your noses are as thin or as wide as God wanted it to be. God never made any mistakes. Love what God made. Love each other. You see, God made one race, and we fools made all the rest. God made a human race, and He made us in His image. And today we have to take pride in knowing that. Don't be ashamed to know your history, for fear that someone may say that you're racist. Every other nationality understands their history. They know where they came from. They wear their native cloth. They learn the language. They know the national anthem, all verses. 4th of July is a great time to have pop fireworks and have barbecue. But that's Declaration of Independence, our freedom from Britain. What about our declaration, our freedom, and the commitment that we should have to each other? See, we get a day off from work and we think, well, we'll have a picnic. We'll have some barbecue ribs and some baked beans and drink a cold beer and have fun. And that's all good and dandy, but if that's all we do, we've completely missed the boat. If all we do is get drunk with Uncle Larry and tell jokes about Aunt Sue, we've completely missed the boat. Know your history. Know your neighbors. Know each other. Talk to each other, not about each other. Love each other. And we'll be back here next year to celebrate one heck of a Juneteenth celebration. God bless you all. Have a great night.